Hello, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. Now, 432 Hertz tuning. It's a pretty big topic. It's pretty difficult to know exactly where to begin. But you just have to pick somewhere and start there. So I figured in this video, I start with just simply presenting you with some of the magic frequencies or sacred frequencies, whatever we choose to call them. All these names are pretty silly, really, but you need to put names on things to be able to explain them. And magic frequencies and sacred frequencies, it sounds pretty cool, so it's as good a name as any, I guess. In this video, I'm also going to explain a couple of basic things that you need to know when you embark on this whole topic. So, let's begin. The first thing we need to understand is the octave, the musical octave. Octave basically means 8, and it comes from the fact that most Western musical scales have 7 notes, and the 8th note of the scale is back to the beginning, so to speak. So if we take the simplest scale, say the A minor scale, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then after G it is back to A. But this A is 1 octave higher than the A you started with. So if we started on A 432 Hertz, then this next A will be twice as high. It will be 864 Hertz. And this is very important to understand, because octaves, when we are going to understand sacred frequencies and proper musical tuning and sound healing, the octave plays a very big role, because 864 Hertz is pretty much the same as 432 Hertz. It has the same properties, you could say. It's also a perfect harmonious interval. So if you play the 2 notes simultaneously or after one another, it will sound very good. It is the only perfectly harmonious interval, actually. Other octaves of 432 are 27, 54, 108, 216, then you have 432, then you have 864, then you have 1728, and then you have 3456. So it's 3456, which is a pretty cool number. And I will go more into detail when it comes to all these numbers in a later video. But if you know a thing or two about mysticism, especially Eastern mysticism, you will already have recognized some of these numbers. All these numbers are sacred numbers in these traditions, and for example 108, or the mala beads, the prayer beads, they all have, or they are supposed to have, 108 beads on them, and you're supposed to say the mantra 108 times, and so on. 54, there are 54 letters in the Sanskrit alphabet, 54 for masculine, 54 feminine. I will get into all the details, and if you want to know all the details right away, you can always get my book, of course. I will link my website in the description of this video. If you click that, you will find links to everything. My music online, my book, only one so far, and yeah, everything I do, social media. The next frequency is a C note. The middle frequency is 512 Hertz, and its octaves are, first of all, its lowest octave, or at least its lowest whole number octave, is 1. So it starts at 1, then it goes to 2, and then it goes to 4, and so on. And other octaves are 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2048, and so on and so on. This goes on literally forever in both directions, as far as you can split or double the number. Next frequency And by the way, the C note, the 512 frequency, you'll recognize it, for example, from computer storage. You have 64 bytes, 128 bytes, 256 bytes, 512 bytes. You remember. Next frequency is a C sharp note, is 540 Hertz, and this is the middle note once again. So other octaves will be 270, be 135, 1080, and 1080 is an interesting number because that's the 108 all over again. Another important thing to remember, the second most important thing to remember after the octave is that decimals don't really count in these systems. The same numbers repeat themselves, but the decimals can move. So 432, for example, can be 4.32, it can be 43.2, it can be 432, it can be 4,320, 43,200, and so on and so on and so on. It's still the same number. And you will see there's no coincidence in this. Next frequency, D note. The most known there is 144, also a very well-known number. Both if you know Eastern mysticism, also if you read the Bible, many other things. There's this New Age idea about twin flames, that there are 144,000 twin flames or something. I'm not gonna speculate on this stuff, but it shows that the number 144 is a very common number in all kinds of mysticism and religion, whatever. Yeah, that's a D note. Some of the octaves are 9, and you also see all the frequencies that I mentioned in this video. Every single one of them. If you go to the digital root of them, the Pythagorean reduction, that is, the Pythagorean reduction is the smallest single digit that you can reduce any number to. So 432, for example, is 4 plus 3 plus 2 equals 9. And for example, the number 12, 1 plus 2 is 3. The number 11, 1 plus 1, it's 2. That's the digital root, or the Pythagorean reduction. It's 9, it's 18, it's 36, it's 72, 144, 288, 576, 1152, 2304, etc., etc. Several of these numbers are very well known. Once again, you have 72, for example, and 36, which are very, very important and sacred numbers in mysticism. Next frequency, 324 Hertz. That's an E note. Octaves are 81, 162, 324, 648, 1296, 2592. I will talk more about all these numbers, and again, you might recognize some of them. Next frequency, the last frequency I'll talk about in this video, is 360. We all know 360 is an important number in geometry. It's the radius of... Hey, it's me. I'm editing this video, and I realized that I just said radius when I meant circumference, which just proves that I'm a complete idiot when it comes to mathematics, and probably shouldn't be doing this at all. But just pretend that never happened and keep watching, okay? Thank you. Both the circle and the square, etc. Its octaves are 45, 90, 180, 360, 720, and 1440. And here we see the 144 once again. And this is a very interesting thing about this system, is that the numbers often repeat themselves, but like I said earlier, the decimals move. So here we have 144, but it is expressed as 1440. Now, the frequencies 144 and 1440, in this case they actually harmonize, but they don't have to harmonize. It's not the same thing, it's not the same as an octave. So the frequencies 144 or 1.44 or 14.4 or 1440 or 144,000, whatever it may be, they may not harmonize. That's not necessarily how it works, although it may work that way. 2880, yeah, we have 288, an octave above 144. So, there are a lot of numbers to remember here. It's important to keep your focus and keep your head with you, so to speak. I don't know if you like math. I used to absolutely despise math in school. I barely passed my final math exam. I only passed my final math exam because of a very, very kind teacher, a too kind teacher, who probably would have lost his job for some of the things he did to help me. Thank you, by the way. When I first got into this and I realized how much math I had to do, it's kind of broke my spirit a little bit. I thought I can never do this. I can't stand math. This is just I will not spend my time doing this. But I decided that I had to figure this out. So I did the math. I mean, I've done probably thousands of calculations. I have pages and pages and pages of calculations that I've done. And it's worth it, trust me. And now I actually enjoy math. I like it. I find it quite beautiful. It's very interesting how numbers behave. And when you realize that the entire creation can be expressed as a number, can be expressed as math, I mean, the beauty is just enhanced. So I'm very glad that I decided to take this road. And I'm very glad that you have decided to join me on this road, on this journey. I think that's good for now. Thank you once again for watching. If you think this is a little bit confusing and doesn't say much, be patient. A lot more is to come. Once again, I'm gonna try to make a video once a week, and I'll make a video until everything is talked about, until everything that I know is out in the open. There are far more sacred or magic frequencies than the ones I've just presented. These are just the most famous ones, you could say, or some of them. Much more is to come. I have no idea how many videos there will be. Maybe 50, maybe 100, maybe 200. Who knows? Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for playing my music. If you want to support me in the work I'm doing, you might want to consider checking out my Patreon page. You might want to go to iTunes or Bandcamp and download some of my music. You may just listen to my music on YouTube or on Spotify. You have many options. I will link my website under this video. Click on there and you will find links to absolutely everything. Yeah, I think that's good for now. Thank you. See you next time.